Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Today I am going to be showing you how to change the rear brakes and rotors on a 2006 Volkswagen Jetta 2.5 liter Value Edition. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put the car in park and put on the emergency brake. By putting on the emergency brake, the back tire won't spin. Since the lug nuts are actually bolts that go into the rotor and the hub, you got to jack the car up before you unscrew them, otherwise the weight of the car on them makes it really hard to get out, and it's just easier to jack it up first. So I'm going to get the car jacked up and then I will come right back. Alright, I'm back. I have the car all jacked up and on a jack stand. Make sure you use jack stands. Safety is always important. So next we're going to remove the lug nuts. They are 17 millimeter. Bam, we have the tire off. So, next what we're going to do is take some PB Blaster and spray it on the bolts back here. And right down here. And then we are going to get the big bolts for the caliper housing that I can't quite see right now, but we will get those too. So, I will be back after I get this all sprayed up with some PB Blaster. Alright, we are back. So I have everything sprayed down. So next I'm going to remove this bolt right here, 13 millimeter. And then down here, there is another 13 millimeter bolt that you need to remove. So first, go and make sure you take off the emergency brake, because that is on this side. And then remove those two bolts. Alright, I'm back. So I have that bolt loosened up. It's nice and ready to come out. So next, what I'm going to do is remove the brake line here, since this is the one with the emergency brake. And then we're going to take that off and kind of pull it up and over. So then when we pull this back, it'll loosen up this cord here and we'll be able to remove that and pull this whole thing off. So I'm going to finish getting this off, and then what you need to do is there's a metal tab here. You just pull it off. It's not just, it's a pain in the butt, and then that'll make this loosen up and you can pull it out of the way. So I'm going to get this off and out of the way, and then this bolt off, and we will come back and go from there. Make sure you do have a catch pan for the brake fluid, and watch out, brake fluid does eat away paint. Alright, I am back. So next we're going to pull this caliper off, and it'll still be attached back there to the emergency brake, which we're going to end up disconnecting and taking off so we can clean up this caliper and paint it. But before then, we have to check out the pads. Yes, these pads were definitely done. I think they're actually no pad at all, it's just the metal, and so when they were going, it was literally so hot. Oh no, they just kind of melted together. Not good at all. That's definitely why we'll be replacing the rotor as well. So next, what we need to do is get the caliper mount off. So to remove that, I believe there's two, I'll have to find them here, two big nuts that you have. Alright, the two caliper mount bolts I found, they are back here. I believe they are stars. So there's two. There's one there and one right there. So we're going to get those two bolts off and we'll go from there. Alright, so it's not coming out as easy as I would like. So I sprayed it down with some more PB Blaster using the breaker bar. But I thought I'd take the time to show you the pads. They definitely were wore out and done. So I'm going to let that PB Blaster set for a little bit and then we'll come back and try again. Alright, while we're waiting for the PB Blaster to set, I thought I'd take the time to show you here the caliper, and we're going to clean it up, but first we need to push the piston back. This particular one has one that the piston needs to turn while you're pushing it back. We have our brake piston tool. You put this plate in there, and then you put this on the end of here, and it will spin and push it. I'll get it all set up and then I'll come back and I'll show you how it works. Alright, we got it all set up here. So I'm going to push it back here and I'll come back when it's done because I can't do it one-handed. I wish I could, but I can't. So I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. So I came to the other side since I still haven't been able to get the caliper bracket off of the other side. But I was able to get it all off on this side. So after you remove those two bolts back there, the bracket comes right off. So I have that and the caliper from this side in the parts cleaner right now. So next what we're going to do is we have to get this rotor off. So you're going to want to remove this screw, and then you're going to want to spray some PB Blaster right here, and if you can behind it, and see if it just pops off. It probably won't. So then you're going to have to get a sledgehammer and hit it a few times. And if that doesn't work, there's a really cool little trick I will show you guys. We will see what happens. So I'm going to get a little star bit and get that bolt removed, and then I will be right back. Alright, I am back. So we got the rotor off. It wasn't too bad. It's pretty nice and easy to get off. So now you want to take the time to clean this all up, spray it down with some PB Blaster, and come back with like a wire brush and just kind of spray everything down so it works real nice. And clean it up. So I'm going to get that all cleaned up. I'm going to get the caliper cleaned up and the caliper bracket cleaned up, and then we will come back and I'll show you how to put on all the new stuff. Alright, I'm back. So I got everything nice and cleaned up. This brake job has ended up being kind of quite the brake job. So we had to drill the screw out to get the rotor off. I ended up breaking the bleeder nipple on the caliper, trying everything to get it out. So I ended up just having to buy a whole new caliper and bracket. And then I had to, on the other side, I ended up having to drill the bolts out. And on this side, at least the bolts for the mount just came right out. But the rotors did not. So we're going to start putting on the new stuff. We have the Bosch Quiet Cast rotors and brake pads. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your rotor and set it up here on your hub. Alright, so we have the new rotor on there. So next what we're going to do is take apart the new caliper and bracket. This is a remanufactured one. And we're going to put in the two bolts that go in the back for the caliper bracket. There's one that goes right here and one that goes down there. So I'm going to get the new caliper taken apart and then I will come right back. Alright, I'm back. So I have the slides all greased up and the pads in. That is a little bit of extra grease, probably too much. Once I get it all, the bracket secured, I will use a rag and get it all cleaned up. But by putting the pads in like this before you slip it over the rotor, It saves the hassle of reaching behind the rotor and trying to get the pad in when you can't see, and it's just that much easier. So then all you got to do is take it over here, slide it on, and then next I'm going to put the 2 bolts in the back. There's one right there and then one right down there. So I'm going to get those 2 bolts in, and then I will come right back. Alright, I am back. So, I have the 2 bolts in back there. And that is nice and secure. So next we're going to put on the caliper itself. Since this is a brand new caliper, the piston is already pushed back. So that's what it'll look like after you use the caliper piston tool that I showed you guys earlier. Now is a good chance to kind of loosen up the bleeder screw, so it's just a little bit easier to get to once you put it on. Sorry, I had to get the hair out of my face and a mosquito. So what you're going to want to do is next just slide the caliper on and over, which should be really easy since everything's brand new. For you it might not be at home if it's not brand new. So you just push it on until it goes on. So you do want to make sure that when you put the slides back in, that you put a little bit of grease in there. You want to make sure that they move. And then you want to put in your 2 screws back here. Oh, first, probably before you put in these 2 bolts, it'd probably be a good idea, just so it's easier, to hook up the emergency brake first. So you're going to slide this cable through this hole here. It'll clip in, and then with your hand you should just be able to push that back and slide that ball up into there, and then put on the 2 bolts, just so it's easier. So I'm going to get that emergency brake cable connected, get these 2 bolts in here, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to reattach the brake line, and we'll go from there. Alright, I'm back. So next what you're going to want to do is put in your brake cable. Goes a certain way so it can't twist, which is always really, really nice. Next, what we're going to do is take out the metal piece that we removed. We're going to slide it up and in. You want to be very careful. You don't want to break it or strip the screws or anything. And then you're just going to start getting them screwed in. They should go nice and easy. And then get those tightened up. And then there's a little clip that goes right in here that we'll put in. And then we will put the tire back on. So I will be right back after I get this little brake line all tightened up. Alright, we are back. So I got that all nice and tightened up. So next, in the last video I said all you gotta do is put on the tire, but I got a little ahead of myself. You won't be able to stop if you do that. We still have to get the brake fluid and bleed the brakes. So next what you're going to want to do is go up under the hood. Bam! Through the magic of editing. So what I found is easiest is if you remove your airflow sensor down here and your mass airflow sensor up here. You don't want to break these cables, and you want to get up here. You also want to remove your oil filler cap, because what we're trying to get to is the brake fluid reservoir up here. So then you just pull, and this top plate will pop right up. Be careful, you don't want to pull off any of your air intake over there. Alright, I'm going to come back after I get it off because I can't do it one-handed and I don't want to break anything. Alright, we are back. So I actually took this off as well, so I could just pull the whole thing off. So here's the brake fluid reservoir. We're going to want to open this up, and we're going to want to fill it up to the max line with some, I believe it is DOT3. Let me see what it says on here. Oh, DOT4. There it is. We also have some of that. So you're going to want to fill it up to the max line. And then you're going to want to go over to your brake rotor where you have the bleeder. And you're going to want to use a brake bleeder hose like vacuum pump. So I'm going to pause the video. And I'm going to get one out. And then I will come back and I will meet you back over by the tire. Alright, as you can see, this is what we're doing. It's getting all the nasty brake fluid out. And we're going to do it till we get clear brake fluid, which will be the new brake fluid we put in. And then once there's no more bubbles, we'll be done. And you can tighten back up your bleeder valve here. And then you're going to put back on your tire. And then you're going to pump your brakes a few times so that the caliper can mount. The way these rotors are, you want to use the tire on so that it doesn't bend it or anything and move it around when you set the pads. And then that is what all you have left to do. So, sorry this was a little bit longer and a little bit switched back and forth from left to right. This has been kind of a crazy brake job, but I hope you do get the general idea on how to change the brake pads and rotors on a 2006 Volkswagen Jetta 2.5 liter value edition. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us out. I'll see you guys later.